The massive view screen aboard the Confederation flagship Eternal Dawn displayed a strange sight. Against the backdrop of distant stars, a human vessel shimmered in and out of existence. One moment it appeared solid and real. The next it seemed like a ghost ship, barely visible against the darkness of space. Commander Tala leaned forward in her command chair. Her deep blue skin contrasted with the silver uniform of the Confederation Diplomatic Corps. After 30 years of service, she thought she had seen everything the universe had to offer. She was wrong. "Magnify," she ordered, her four-fingered hand gesturing at the screen. The image zoomed in, revealing a vessel unlike any in the Confederation database. Most ships followed certain universal design principles. The Arcturians favored crystalline structures that channeled solar energy, while the Vespid Collective built organic hives that grew and adapted to space. This human ship, however, defied all conventional wisdom. The HSS Schrödinger was all harsh angles and sharp edges. Dark metal plates covered its hull, interrupted by pulsing fields of blue energy. Most disturbing was how it seemed to exist in multiple places at once, its edges blurring as if the ship couldn't decide which reality to inhabit. Science Officer Duna stood at her station, compound eyes wide with shock. Her mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of extreme agitation among her species. "This is impossible," she whispered. "They've achieved quantum superposition on a macroscopic scale. The entire vessel exists in multiple states simultaneously." "Explain," Tala commanded, never taking her eyes off the strange ship. Duna's claws danced across her console. "All matter exists as both particles and waves at the quantum level, but this property normally disappears at larger scales. These humans have somehow maintained quantum uncertainty for an entire battleship. It exists in many possible states at once, only choosing a single reality when observed." Captain Norrie, the military liaison, growled low in his throat. "Is it a weapon?" Tala shot him a warning glance. The Confederation had encountered over 3,000 species in its long history. Some had been peaceful, others warlike. All had eventually been integrated into the galactic community, willingly or otherwise. The standard procedure for emerging spacefaring races was clear: evaluation, classification, and protective integration, until they reached sufficient maturity. "Open communications," Tala ordered. The view screen flickered, and a human face appeared. The woman had dark eyes and a calm expression. "This is Commander Park of the Human Space Service vessel Schrödinger. We greet the Galactic Confederation in peace." Tala gave the formal greeting response. "The Confederation welcomes humans to the galactic community. We offer guidance and protection as you join the interstellar family." Commander Park's expression didn't change, but her voice cooled slightly. "We appreciate your welcome, but we must clarify our position. Earth has sent the Schrödinger as an exploratory and diplomatic vessel. We come in peace, but we will not be subjugated." Captain Norrie stepped forward. "All emerging species require guidance. It is for your own protection." "We understand your concern," Park replied. "However, Earth has chosen its own path. The quantum technology you see before you is just one example of our approach. We hope to learn from the Confederation, but as equals, not as subjects." Duna's instruments began to beep urgently. "Commander, the human ship is changing. The quantum field is intensifying." On the screen, the Schrödinger seemed to multiply, creating ghostly duplicates of itself that appeared and disappeared around the original vessel. The effect was disorienting, as if the ship existed in dozens of places simultaneously. Tala felt a chill run down her spine. In all her years, she had never encountered a species that refused integration. The fact that these humans possessed technology the Confederation couldn't understand made the situation even more dangerous. "We respect your position," she said carefully. "Perhaps we could arrange a formal meeting to discuss terms of cooperation." Commander Park nodded. "We would welcome that opportunity." As the communication ended, Norrie moved closer to Tala. "They are dangerous. The Council must be informed immediately." Tala watched the impossible human ship on the screen. Yes, she agreed quietly, but not for the reasons you think. Captain Ja watched the stars through the large window on the bridge. Her dark eyes narrowed as she counted the 17 alien ships surrounding the Schrödinger. The Confederation vessels hung in space like hungry predators circling their prey. They had arranged themselves in a perfect circle, each ship exactly the same distance from the others. "They think we don't know what they're doing," she said quietly. The bridge of the Schrödinger looked different from the command centers of other human ships. Instead of rows of control stations and blinking lights, the circular room contained a single large platform in the center. Above this platform floated a three-dimensional display showing not just the positions of the alien ships, but hundreds of ghostly blue lines branching outward in all directions. Lieutenant Commander Han stood beside the quantum display, his fingers moving through the hologram as he sorted through possible futures. Unlike traditional computers that processed information in binary code, the Schrödinger's quantum systems existed in multiple states simultaneously. This allowed the ship's systems to calculate not just what would happen, but what could happen across countless possible timelines. "Quantum state analysis complete, Captain," Han reported. He was young for his position, but his natural ability to interpret quantum data had made him invaluable. "We've mapped all potential timeline branches for the next 72 hours. The other bridge officers watched in silence. Working aboard the Schrödinger required a special kind of mind, one that could accept the strange reality of quantum mechanics without going mad. Most humans still experience time as a straight line moving from past to future. The crew of the Schrödinger saw time as a vast network of possibilities, constantly splitting and recombining. Jia walked to the platform and studied the display. To her enhanced perception, the blue lines representing possible futures weren't just data. They were as real and solid as the metal deck beneath her feet. She reached out and touched one particular strand, causing it to glow brighter than the others. "They're planning to activate a gravitic snare in approximately 6 hours," she said. She didn't need to look at the display to know this. Her quantum-enhanced consciousness had already absorbed the information. "They'll attempt to force us into a single quantum state, then disable our propulsion systems. Standard procedure for containing unknown technology," said Commander Kim, the ship's tactical officer. "They've probably used this technique on hundreds of species before." Jia nodded, "But they don't understand what they're dealing with. Our quantum state isn't a trick or a technology we've applied to the ship. It's what we are now." 5 years earlier, the breakthrough had come from an unexpected source. Quantum physicists had long known that particles could exist in multiple states until observed. What they hadn't realized was that human consciousness itself was a quantum phenomenon. Once this connection was understood, the next step became possible, allowing human minds to exist in quantum superposition, just like subatomic particles. "Options?" Jia asked, looking around at her crew. Han expanded part of the display. "We could jump to another system before they spring their trap. The quantum drive is ready. Running away would just delay the inevitable," Kim said. "They'll follow us wherever we go." "We could attack first," suggested Lieutenant Yu from the weapons station. "Our phase cannons can target their engines without causing casualties." Jia shook her head. "We didn't come all this way to start a war." She walked slowly around the quantum display, studying the branching pathways of possibility. "We need to show them what we're capable of, but in a way that opens dialogue rather than closes it." She stopped at one particular branch of the timeline, a thin golden thread among the blue. "There. That's our path forward." The crew looked at the highlighted timeline with expressions of surprise and respect. "That's elegant, Captain," Han said finally. Jia smiled. "Have the quantum communications team prepare a message for the Confederation flagship. It's time we introduced ourselves properly." Admiral Cole stood on the command deck of his flagship, the Relentless Hunter. 6 tentacles gripped various control surfaces, while his 4 eyes monitored different tactical displays. In his 300 years of service to the Confederation, he had never lost a battle. Today would be no different. "Gravitic snare ready, Admiral," reported his weapons officer. All ships are in position. The human vessel hung in space before them, flickering in and out of reality like a faulty light. The strange ship had ignored all warnings and refused to follow Confederation protocols. Now it would learn the price of defiance. "Begin the operation," Call ordered. 16 specialized emitters on the Confederation ships activated simultaneously, creating an invisible web of gravitational forces. The technology had subdued vessels from hundreds of different species. It worked by forcing all quantum particles into a single state, making it impossible for ships to use dimensional drives or energy shields. Cole watched confidently as the gravitic field closed around the human ship. For a moment, the Schrödinger seemed to solidify, its quantum flickering slowing as the field took effect. Then something impossible happened. The human ship didn't just resist the gravitic snare. It absorbed the energy and redirected it. Waves of gravitational distortion rolled outward from the Schrödinger, washing over the Confederation vessels like a tsunami. Warning alarms blared across the command deck. Cole's crew worked frantically at their stations as systems throughout the fleet began to fail. Propulsion offline. Weapon systems not responding. The gravitic emitters are overloading. Cole slammed a tentacle against his console in frustration. "How?" he demanded. "This is impossible. No ship can reflect a gravitic snare." His tactical officer, Commander Pell, had served in over 40 campaigns against non-compliant species. Her normal confident demeanor had been replaced by open confusion. "Sir, our sensors can't lock onto them," she said, checking multiple screens. "They're everywhere and nowhere at once. The targeting systems show the human ship occupying multiple positions simultaneously." On the main view screen, the Schrödinger had become a blur of overlapping images. It seemed to exist in dozens of places at once, each version slightly different from the others. When Cole tried to focus on one image, it faded while others became more solid. "They'd weaponized quantum uncertainty," whispered the science officer. "Instead of fighting against the uncertainty principle like our technology does, they've embraced it." Before Cole could respond, the Schrödinger attacked. Beams of coherent energy lashed out from the human vessel with impossible precision. Unlike the chaotic destruction typically seen in space battles, these beams struck with surgical accuracy. The first hit disabled the weapons array on Cole's flagship without damaging any other systems. The second targeted their propulsion but left life support untouched. Ship after ship reported similar precision strikes. In exactly 7 minutes, 13 Confederation vessels had been completely disabled, unable to fight, flee, or call for reinforcements. Yet not a single crew member had been injured. No hull breaches, no radiation leaks, no life support failures. The humans had crippled the fleet without taking a single life. "Full status report," Cole demanded, his voice dangerously quiet. 13 ships disabled, including the flagship, Commander Pell reported. "Weapons, propulsion, and communications have been precisely targeted on each vessel. The humans somehow knew exactly where to strike to disable our systems without causing collateral damage." "And casualties?" Pell checked her console again, seemingly unable to believe the readings. "None, sir. Not even minor injuries reported." The main view screen flickered, and the face of a human appeared, Captain Juh of the Schrödinger. "Admiral Cole, this demonstration is now complete," she said calmly. "We could have destroyed your fleet, but that is not our purpose. We seek understanding, not conquest." Cole felt his skin change color with anger and humiliation. "What do you want?" "A meeting," Juh replied simply. "With your Confederation Council. Your remaining ships have enough power to transmit a request for diplomatic transport. We will wait." As the communication ended, Cole stared at the mysterious human ship. In all his centuries of service, he had never encountered a force he could not defeat. Until now. "Send the message," he ordered quietly. "The Council needs to know what we're facing." The Great Council chamber on Proxima Station was built to impress. Massive crystal walls rose in a perfect dome, allowing visitors to see the stars and ships outside. 200 seats arranged in rising circles faced a central speaking platform. Each seat represented a different species in the Galactic Confederation. Today, every seat was filled. News of the quantum human ship had spread quickly through the galaxy. The defeat of Admiral Cole's fleet, without a single casualty, had shocked even the oldest council members. Ambassador Sun walked slowly to the center platform. He wore a simple black uniform with a single silver pin showing Earth's image. Unlike the colorful, elaborate outfits of the alien representatives, Sun's clothing was plain and functional. He carried no weapons or devices. High Counselor Mira watched the human with all four of her eyes. Her skin glowed with shifting blue patterns, a sign of strong emotion among her kind. As head of the council, she had overseen the integration of 37 new species into the Confederation. None had been like these humans. The council recognizes Ambassador Sun of Earth, Mira announced, her voice echoing through the chamber. You may address us. Sun looked around the room, making eye contact with various representatives. Many shifted uncomfortably under his gaze. Thank you for agreeing to this meeting, he began. I understand that our arrival and methods have caused concern. Concern. The representative from the Volok Empire stood up, his scales rattling with anger. Your ship disabled 13 of our vessels without warning. After they attempted to trap us in a gravitic snare, Sun replied calmly. We responded with minimal force. We didn't come to conquer. We came to introduce ourselves as equals. The chamber filled with murmurs and clicks of disbelief. For thousands of years, the Confederation had classified species into developmental tiers. New spacefaring races were placed under protection until they reached certain technological and social milestones. High Counselor Mira raised her upper limbs for silence. Ambassador Sun, you must understand our position. The Confederation has existed for over 20,000 years. We have established protocols for integrating new species. I understand your protocols, Sun said, but they were created without knowledge of our existence or capabilities. Outside the Crystal Dome, the HSS Schrödinger hung in space like a dark star. Even now, it flickered between states of being, sometimes solid, sometimes ghostly. Several council members couldn't look at it directly without feeling dizzy. Your species developed quantum technology without passing through the standard evolutionary stages of space travel, Mira stated, her bioluminescent skin pulsing with agitation. This is unprecedented. Sun smiled. Humanity has always excelled at taking unconventional paths. We discovered that consciousness itself is a quantum phenomenon. Once we understood that, applying it to our technology was the natural next step. Impossible, declared the Takaran scientist representative. Consciousness is a product of biochemical processes. It cannot be quantum in nature. That was our understanding as well, Sun replied. Until Dr. Jin's breakthrough 15 years ago. She proved that human awareness operates on quantum principles, that our minds naturally exist in states of superposition until choices collapse those states into single realities. Sun walked to the edge of the platform, closer to the council members. We didn't build our quantum ships. We grew them, extending our consciousness into the vessel itself. The Schrödinger doesn't just use quantum mechanics. It is quantum mechanics embodied. Mira's glow patterns showed deep concern. If what you say is true, then your technology represents either the greatest opportunity or the greatest threat the Confederation has ever faced. That depends entirely on how you choose to respond to us, Sun said quietly. We offer friendship and exchange of knowledge, but we cannot and will not accept a subordinate position in your hierarchy. The council chamber grew silent as the implications became clear. For the first time, in thousands of years, the Confederation faced a species it could neither control nor contain. What exactly do you propose, Ambassador? Mira asked finally. Sun's expression remained calm, but his eyes showed determination. A new beginning, equal status for Earth, and a fundamental rethinking of how the Confederation approaches emerging species. Outside, the quantum-locked battleship shimmered in the starlight, a reminder of the changing balance of power in the galaxy. The massive docking bay of the HFY Stories glowed with soft blue light. Where most ships had solid walls and floors, the quantum-locked vessel's interior seemed to shift and flow like water. Surfaces appeared solid when touched but looked transparent from a distance. Admiral Gia adjusted her formal uniform as she watched the alien delegation approach. 5 years had passed since the tense first contact between humans and the Galactic Confederation. Today marked the final step in a long journey, the signing of the Quantum Accords and the official recognition of Earth as an equal partner in galactic affairs. "Nervous?" asked Ambassador Sun, standing beside her. "A little," Jia admitted. "This is the first time we've allowed so many non-humans aboard. Maintaining stable quantum fields for different physiologies wasn't easy." The delegation included representatives from 12 major Confederation species. High Counselor Mara led the group, her bioluminescent skin glowing with a pattern that indicated formal respect. Behind her walked beings of various shapes and sizes, some with multiple limbs, others floating on anti-gravity platforms, all wearing translation devices and environmental suits. "Welcome aboard the Schrödinger," Gia said, bowing slightly. "We are honored by your presence." Mira's upper limbs formed the gesture of formal greeting. "The honor is ours, Admiral. Your vessel has become quite famous, or infamous, throughout Confederation space." The aliens looked around with obvious unease. The quantum nature of the ship made it difficult for non-human minds to process. Walls seemed to breathe. Corridors appeared to stretch infinitely in certain directions. "They're still afraid of us," Sun whispered to Jia as they led the delegation toward the ship's center. Jia nodded slightly. "Fear can be useful. It kept us alive when we were still planet-bound, and it's keeping the peace now. But that's not why we're here." The group reached a large circular chamber at the heart of the ship. Unlike the shifting corridors, this room appeared perfectly stable. In the center stood a device that resembled a doorway made of light. "What you see before you is a quantum field generator," Jia explained. "Today, after the signing ceremony, we would like to offer you a unique experience, a glimpse of the universe as we now perceive it." Several delegates exchanged nervous glances. The Volok representative, who had once been so angry at humans, spoke up. "Is it safe?" "Completely," Sun assured him. "The field is temporary and adjustable to your specific biology. You will experience quantum perception for exactly 3 minutes. No permanent changes will occur." After the formal signing of the Quantum Accords, which granted Earth equal status in the Confederation and established new protocols for contacting emerging species, Jia addressed the gathering again. "Now we would like to reveal the true purpose of ships like the Schrödinger," she said. "When we first met, many of you believed this vessel was designed as a weapon. In truth, it is a tool for exploration." The main lights dimmed, and a holographic display appeared, showing regions of space that made several delegates gasp. "Our quantum nature allows us to safely traverse regions previously thought impossible," Jia continued. "The event horizons of black holes, the space between dimensions, even the theoretical dead zones where conventional physics breaks down." Images showed the Schrödinger moving through swirling colors and impossible geometries, places no conventional ship could survive. "We offer to share this knowledge," Sun said, "not as conquerors, but as explorers. The universe is vastly stranger and more wonderful than any of us imagined." One by one, the delegates stepped through the quantum field generator. Each experienced a brief glimpse of reality as humans now perceived it, not as a single timeline moving forward, but as an ocean of possibilities existing simultaneously. When Mira emerged, her bioluminescent patterns showed a complex emotion no human had seen before. "We have explored the galaxy for 20,000 years, she said quietly, "and yet today, I feel like a child seeing the stars for the first time." As the delegation departed, Jia stood at the viewing port watching their ships pull away. The Schrödinger would soon begin its journey to regions beyond conventional space, with representatives from 5 Confederation species joining the human crew. The surrender implied in the ship's fearsome reputation wasn't about military defeat after all. It was the surrender of old limitations, old fears, and old ways of thinking, a philosophical revolution that would change the galaxy forever.